Isn't it just a matter of if the Afrikaner government had kept these state-owned enterprises, they'd still be functional. And it's just because the ANC leadership was incompetent.
Yeah.
And not necessarily a matter of privatization.
So
I know you believe in privatization, but I need to ask.
I do. Look at Ethiopian Airlines for an example of how that could work. Ethiopian Airlines is owned by the Ethiopian government.
Correct.
It's a state-owned enterprise,
Correct.
but it is run like a private enterprise. So the Ethiopian government gave it enough capital to get launched. But they brought in private management team, initially from America, but now it's Ethiopian, to build it as a business. And they basically said that the profits that come out of building Ethiopian Airlines must be reinvested in Ethiopian Airlines.
Yeah.
So the government doesn't take a dividend or tax.
Sure.
So it's a state-owned enterprise, but run as a private enterprise, run for profitability and success. It's now the best airline in Africa.
It is.
So we could have and should have done that. But there's so many other priorities.
Sure.
Employment. South African Airways was not an airline. It was an employment agency.
Sure.
And eventually you bankrupt it.
A lot of our SOEs are run as non-profits. There's no focus on
which
functionality.
Means your
or
tax,
even,
Pen, and my tax pays for it, which is ridiculous. I'd rather my tax money went into something that's actually productive.
Sure.
But what we're really all talking about is education. Yeah. This is the biggest deficit of all. Under apartheid, the worst legacy of apartheid was the education deficit. At its worst, white kids were having 18 times more money spent on them than black kids, at its worst, okay? And what happened was we created a generation of undereducated people, who, by the way, are all our ANC cabinet ministers.
Yes.
They got the bad education, and then they got trained by the Soviets. No wonder we have idiots like Aaron Motsoaledi in government. Get rid of these madalas.
I like Ntate Aaron, by the way. No, please continue.
He's useless. He ran Home Affairs. There were 40,000 unprocessed applications when he left to go and do health.
He went back to health.
Moron. What is he going to do there? Push NHI, which is even more stupid. Leon Schreiber, who doesn't like me because I support Gayton, the DA guy, in 3 months processed all 40,000 applications. Why couldn't Aaron do that? Because he's useless and uneducated. He's stupid.
I want to defend the ANC.
No, this is not the ANC. This is an individual I'm attacking.
No, I hear you. People speak about legacies. They say, look, Schreiber was just carrying on with the work that Aaron did. I don't know how true that is, because then it becomes political propaganda of we're better than. No,
a DA is better than the ANC, end of story. But I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the education deficit has done this country irreparable damage. And you and I had a chat before the interview about Bob Mugabe.
Oh, Robert.
Why are Zimbabweans are the most literate people in Africa?
That's correct.
The education system put in place by the British, continued by an educator, Bob Mugabe, has been a huge success. I mean, the rest of Zimbabwe is destroyed by moronic, ideologies.
Sure.
However, the education system's been a big success. Our education system, under apartheid, disaster for black kids.
Yes.
And under the ANC, disaster for all kids.
Yes.
They're equal opportunity destroyers, the ANC. They've messed it up for everyone. How do we fix that? That's one thing you can't fix overnight, unfortunately. You can fix the economy in 12 months. I can.
Hey.
Not the ANC. But education, what do we do? That's the tough one, because that's generational. And that's my biggest fear, is that we've now got 2 generations of undereducated people who
unemployable,
no chance.
unskilled.
Well, not unemployable. Unskilled, yes, not unemployable. If you have economic growth, you will employ them.
You'll find something for them to do.
But we have a GNU that doesn't focus on economic growth. It's not going to happen, economic growth. It just isn't going to happen.
Before you speak about the GNU, I want to counter just a bit. Without defending Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, I do believe he's a patriot. I do believe he tries. I think he's limited by many factors, including himself. Sometimes you need to move out of the way and get more energetic people.
Well said.
But one of the things he did tell me in confidence is we've got a huge problem at Home Affairs. I do hope Leon Schreiber can resolve it, because we've got legacies of manual documents that have never been processed. And those backlogs, before we even think about technology and all these things. We just have those legacies that we need to clear out. If Leon Schreiber can do that, it's gonna take a miracle.
He'll do it.
He'll probably go down as the greatest Home Affairs minister we've
He'll do
had.
it.
Because then moving forward, at least we'll have all our stuff in databases backed up on maybe Amazon,
How perfect.
clouds,
Yeah.
etc. But I do know that he's passionate and patriotic. I don't know if we'll get a chance today, but I've got huge issues with NHI. And I do know the ANC, etc., have been pushing this thing. And I do think it's a huge mistake. And Aaron Motsoaledi, along with guys like Panyaza Lesufi, are very big on these solutions that actually destroy more than
You and I
fix
agree.
what you're meant to be fixing.
So we have a health system. Fix it.
Just fix that.
And because they don't know how to fix it, because none of them have ever been in business, they have no idea. What they say is, well, we're not smart enough to fix it, and we're not prepared to bring in people who are competent enough to fix it. Let's just create a whole new system,
Yes.
which will bankrupt the country.